Christmas is my favourite time of year.
Hey!
And the best part is enjoying that special meal with friends and family.
That is delicious.
Oh, Mary.
So I'm going to find out what my chef friends, Angela and Monica, serve on the big day.
This is going to blow your Christmas mittens off.
And what my presenter pal, Rylan, doesn't.
I don't normally do Brussels sprouts.
That's what I'm here for. And I'm sharing the secrets of my own classic Christmas Day menu. Absolutely scrumptious. A wonderfully stress-free and delicious festive feast with all the trimmings.
Just fabulous.
With my tips on planning. That's yet another job done. Advice on how to cook. More butter, yes. And when to cook. I promise you it works. You just trust me. I'll make sure your day runs like clockwork. Don't they look good? This is my ultimate guide to the most wonderful Christmas ever. The key to a successful Christmas meal is being organised. Take a note of who's coming, what's on the menu, and make a timetable. With careful planning, you can make the perfect Christmas meal and have plenty of time to enjoy the day. My Christmas menu starts with mini cheese and herb scones topped with cranberry. For the main event, it has to be the traditional turkey served with a chestnut and apricot stuffing. My foolproof twice-roasted potatoes, red cabbage, Brussels sprouts with peas and cashew nuts, and lashings of gravy. To finish things off, my ultimate trifle. And there's always room for some Christmas pudding. The first thing I like to tick off my list are the Christmas canapés. You can make my mini cheese and herb scones nice and early because the base can be cooked ahead and frozen. This is one of my favourite canapés, and I can tell you, I've made one or two in my time. I like to serve canapés before the Christmas meal, much easier than having a first course. It's informal and it's fun. So into the bowl goes self-raising flour, and I've got 125 grams going in. Because it's a scone mixture, it needs to rise a little bit more than, say, pastry, so you add a little extra baking powder, so half a teaspoon. In it goes. And then butter, of course, 25 grams. So just rub that in with the fingertips, as lightly as I can. It should look like breadcrumbs. Now to add flavour, some wonderfully aromatic sage. These canapés are really tiny, so you've really got to pack the flavour in because you're only going to have a small mouthful. For some bite, 50 grams of finely grated Parmesan. Just testing. These are ready to be added to the flour and butter mix, along with an essential ingredient of mine, mustard powder. You know, mustard really does bring out the flavour of cheese. If I'm making something like cheese straws, I would never forget to put a little mustard in it. I'm just going to mix that together. A little bit of pepper and salt. All I've got to do now is to bring it all together. 1 egg, a couple of tablespoons of milk, and a little bit of elbow grease is all it takes. So there it's come together really well. Clear the decks and give the dough a light knead. Not a lot, just get these cracks out. If you handle it a lot, it'll be tough. Roll it out. I love the flecks of that fresh herb. Now you need a little cutter. Mine is 3 centimetres, which should make about 35 of these mini scones, and pop them straight onto a lined baking tray, ready for the oven. I've been married for 54 years. I've cooked an awful lot of Christmas dinners. And the one thing I've learned is get ahead and there's no panic at the end. They look like little soldiers, don't they? I always brush the tops of my scones with beaten egg for a lovely golden shine. Now those go straight away into the oven. They want to be risen and golden brown. I think those scones look absolutely beautiful. Cut in half for a nice smooth finish, then top with a generous layer of rich Stilton. And remember, we put Parmesan in, so you're getting double whack, very rich, very delicious, and a real treat. About 3 more minutes in the oven to melt the cheese, and they're ready. Now, the finishing touch. Give these mini morsels a festive finesse. A little cranberry and parsley will finish them off. Don't they look good? I certainly wouldn't be satisfied with just one. They're very, very good. My Stilton and Cranberry mini scones are sure to get my Christmas meal off with a bang.
Merry Christmas! That popped way before.
You were good at this sort of
Merry
thing.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Lovely to see
Are you feeling
all.
hungry?
These look lovely.
They are so good.
wonderful.
That's Christmas
Thank you.
in a canapé.
It's sweet and cheesy, just like me.
You said it, sweetheart.
Yeah,
You said
no
it.
one else.
My family have all sorts of traditions that we do every year. Christmas Eve, it's always a wonderful fish pie. And on Christmas Day, after lunch, just before it gets dark, we're out on a walk with the dogs. But I love hearing what other people do, especially hearing what they cook. Starting with a dear friend of mine, the amazing Italian chef, Angela Hartnett.
Mary, happy Christmas!
And a happy Christmas to you.
Mwah.
While I always have canapés with my family, for Angela's, there's one pasta starter that's so delicious, it's been on their festive menu for over 20 years.
Come into the kitchen, Mary.
Oh, it's
Christmas
looking
Eve.
really Christmassy. So what are you going to make?
As you know, I've got the Italian heritage on my mother's side. So we always make pasta for Christmas, and it's something I've made from this age, probably 10 years old. And I'll make the pasta here. My mum and aunt sit at the table with a cup of tea and do their bit, and then my cousins are helping. And actually, it's one of the lovely traditions, and we want to carry that on with my nephews and get them doing it. So I think that's how it should be. I always do these pumpkin tortelli, so that's what we're going to have, because pumpkin are in season, and then we serve them in this lovely sage butter. And it's very much from the north of Italy, where we come from, and then we all have turkey, because, you know, that's what you should do,
So
isn't
this
it?
is your first course?
First course. And the thing is, it's about preparation. So I make these in the beginning of December, freeze them, and it's one job done.
It's all about organisation, isn't it?
I know. So we're going to make pasta dough.
Is that a strong flour?
That's a 00 pasta flour, so it's got a good gluten content. But if you haven't got it, you can use strong plain flour.
Right.
So that's fine, but plain flour. Then for every 100 grams of flour, we're going to do 1 whole egg. So I think that's about 200 grams there. Give that a little whisk for me, and let's start to incorporate the flour in.
Now you're getting your hands in
So
there.
you'll love this, Mary. You see, this is the stage my nonna and my mother get to, and then they expect you as the slightly younger person to do. Mum goes, I'm not kneading anymore, Angela. You need to knead. So a little bit of pressure and just pushing it away and
And
bringing
not
it
too
back.
much flour in course.
Not too much, yeah. That's nice and smooth now.
It's important to let the gluten in the dough relax to ensure strong, pliable pasta, giving us time to make the filling.
So the filling I'm going to make is pumpkin and ricotta, and we're going to finish it with sage walnut butter.
Oh, how delicious. Angela's roasted chunks of pumpkin with olive oil and salt for 45 minutes at 180 fan until tender.
I'm going to add not too much ricotta because I want the pumpkin flavour. Just, you know, for 500 grams of pumpkin, add about 100 grams of ricotta.
It's not difficult at all.
Not difficult, no.
A bit like making a cake. A sprinkling of Parmesan, God, I smell that cheese. Lovely.
Yeah. And then one other secret ingredient,
What's
which
that?
is very Christmassy. These are mustard fruits.
That looks like ginger.
Well, that's like a little...
Stem ginger. It
Yeah,
looks like it, doesn't it?
exactly. And these are like pickled fruits in this mustard syrup. And they serve them lots with cold meats. You know, we have it on Christmas Day with turkey. That's a lovely fig. This one I know you know, Mary, because I'm sure you have that.
Maraschino cherries.
Do you have that
like that?
little cocktail at Christmas?
Cheeky.
So if you can mix that in for me, Mary.
Absolutely. These can be bought from specialist shops or online, or simply replaced with stem ginger. After resting in the fridge, Angela rolls out the dough, starting on the widest setting. Just a few passes is all it takes until it's thin enough for the perfect tortelli.
We're good. Can I see you through that, Mary? Can I? No.
Now it's time to prepare them.
When we make them at Christmas, my mum will be here, my aunt Viv will be there, and then I sort of float in between.
You're the boss.
I'm the boss. And the old-fashioned way they would do it at home
Right.
is how we used to do it with my grandmother, is she has one big spoon like this, and then from that spoon she uses a teaspoon to just do the filling like so, with a good thumb in between.
Look at the precision. You can see
Yeah.
you've done it year in, year out.
Well,
the distance is perfect.
I was always told off, you see, if I didn't do it right. As a kid, we would make 500. We're actually working on antiques today, Mary, so this is Nonna's board, this actual pasta board.
It's big, isn't it?
It's big, yeah. So come on, Mary, what mistakes have you made at Christmas that you've thought, oh my God,
I
wish
have at last learnt to not overcook the turkey. A brush of egg wash, and then fold the pasta onto itself.
That's
it's
it.
holding, it's not ripping
There we
apart.
go, yeah, that's it. Then cup your little finger like so to get the air out.
Yours look a little bit different from mine, but
See?
you've done 500 every year
Exactly.
for 20 years, so I mean...
I think so. I'm sure if we did a mince pie cook-off, Mary, I think you'd beat me hands down, I have to say.
I might do.
You might do. Then we just go like this in between.
To make a head, these can be frozen on open trays and then bagged up once solid, ready to cook straight from the freezer at Christmas. But I can't resist trying some now, and they couldn't be simpler.
The time it takes to cook these, I'm going to make the sauce.
So is that about 3 minutes?
3 minutes, if that. So, nice bit of butter. Put in some walnuts, just break them up. You know, it's very last minute. If you don't have walnuts, use a few almonds, just something nutty. Then we're going to add some sage, which is fantastic. So, they've come up, drain them nicely, and you've got to finish it in the pan. Oh, look at that.
Right,
Nice
that's a
hot
hot
plates,
plate.
yeah. Just spoon those very
Wow,
gently
look at
there.
that.
And then obviously you finish it off with a little bit of your parmesan.
Doesn't that look good?
And that for me, Mary, is Christmas on a plate. Bon appetit.
I can see that filling oozing out, that bright orange colour.
And I love it with the walnuts because the nuttiness, I think, as you say, that's perfect. And that's Christmas.
It's absolutely divine.
It didn't take us that long.
Oh, so good.
Love it. Don't relax, Mary. Don't think you're going anywhere. We've still got another 50 or 60 to make.
Well, I'll try and get a bit quicker. While Angela prepares hundreds of these little tortelli, you'll only need one of my gloriously rich Christmas puddings at the table. Laden with fruits, nuts, and laced with brandy, it may be the last thing you eat, but it's one of the first things I make. This is my tried and tested Christmas pudding. Some people make it a year ahead, but for me, a week before Christmas is perfect. I start off by putting the dry ingredients in the bowl. It's blissfully simple, starting with 100 grams of self-raising flour and 40 grams of fresh breadcrumbs. Do you know the breadcrumbs are what makes a lovely texture, and it makes it quite light. Almonds blanched with no skin, chopped fairly coarsely. I like to come across a little bit of bite of those nuts. And for extra depth, 100 grams of light muscovado sugar.
Years ago when I used to make this recipe, I used caster sugar, but I love the flavour of a natural sugar like light muscovado. Also helps with the colour. And a teaspoonful of mixed spice. Opening this bottle here, it just makes you think of Christmas.
My pudding is cram jam full of fruit, starting with 30 grams of halved glassy cherries, 50 grams of currants, and 200 grams of sultanas.
Nice, juicy, fat ones. And then raisins. So I think we have a nice balance here.
Add the zest of a lemon and orange.
Christmas pudding is always improved by a little bit of citrus, and the actual zest gives a lovely flavour. When the children were young, we used to stir it and make wishes, and they absolutely loved it. Right, I'm going to give this a good stir to mix it. This is when the children are involved, and then they start dipping their fingers in when it's all made.
With all those fabulous festive flavours well mixed, it's time to bind them all together with the wet ingredients.
I've got a couple of eggs here, and then the melted butter.
Just 80 grams is all I need.
That just smells of Christmas.
My foolproof technique means there's no Christmas Day panic about the pudding turning out in my house.
Now I've got a 2.5 pint bowl here. I want to be assured that it turns out beautifully evenly. So I generously buttered the bowl. I then put a square of foil there, very firmly pressed down. So you won't notice any impression on the top of the pudding, but I know that it'll turn out.
Make sure the foil is well buttered too. Then in it goes.
Press the mixture down evenly. You don't want any air pockets.
To get this ready for the pan, cut a circle of baking paper, then cover with foil. Fold the centre to create a pleat. This will allow the foil to expand as the pudding rises up.
Make sure that's absolutely centre, and then tuck your hand on top and turn it round all the way.
I'm going to boil mine in a pan of water, and I have a nifty trick that makes light work of lifting out the pudding when it's cooked. Fold a piece of foil into 3 and use it as a handle.
Just put that, and you can lift it into the pan and out of the pan.
Another top tip is putting a metal lid from an old jar into the base of the pan.
If it boils too rapidly, you could crack the bowl. I have done it. So just put that so it doesn't touch the bottom.
Fill the pan halfway up with water. Bring to the boil and simmer for at least 4 hours. Check the levels every half hour and top up if it's needed. The longer you cook it, the richer and darker it will be.
And the whole house will smell of Christmas.
Who needs a candle with smells like this wafting through your home? Make a few holes with a skewer.
It really is wonderful.
Then add the final ingredient, brandy.
I love that glug. I suppose that's about 3 tablespoons, something like that.
Cover it with foil, and this little parcel will be a lovely treat to unwrap and enjoy on Christmas Day.
Dead easy.
Christmas Eve is always a busy one in my house. I like to get all the food for tomorrow sorted, starting with the star of the show. My succulent roast turkey enriched with lemon and fresh herbs.
The first job for me on Christmas Eve is preparing the turkey. I like to get up early so nobody's in the kitchen telling me what to do, turn the radio on, and I rather enjoy doing it. I've got a nice plump bird here. It's about 6 kilos, and that'll serve about 12 to 15 people. If you have a frozen bird, make quite sure that it's fully thawed.
Turkey, thyme and lemon are a match made in heaven. I find putting them under the skin as well as in the cavity ensures a wonderfully juicy bird.
A few slices of this, fairly thin. Now I'll do a bit of de-pipping. Wouldn't be so fussy if it was going in my gin and tonic.
Add the lemon and 2 chopped onions, skin and all.
All that'll go straight up through the bird and add to a wonderful turkey.
Adding fresh sage, a few bay leaves and thyme into the cavity will make the meat absolutely scrumptious.
I think I'll get it all in. So that's the flavouring vegetables in there. Now to the breast. I'm going to loosen the skin up this end really, really gently because you don't want to push your fingers through the skin.
Then generously spread underneath with softened butter, 3 sprigs of fresh thyme and the slices of lemon.
Just tie the legs up. There we are, neat and tidy. And then more butter. Yes, this is Christmas. So just spread all over with butter. A little bit of sea salt over the top. And that's all ready for Christmas Day. Another thing to tick off the list.
That's not the only thing I'm getting ahead with today. My classic apricot and chestnut stuffing can be made up to 3 days before, and it's a dish my family and I absolutely adore.
I've tried all different stuffings. My favourite certainly is the chestnut and apricot, and if there's some left for Boxing Day with the cold cuts, I'll be very pleased. My first task is to chop up the apricots, and these are ready to eat dried.
225 grams gives just the right amount of fruity flavour.
I usually cut these in about 4. I like these bigger pieces so you can actually see it. I don't want it to just be a mash. And the joy of doing it in an open dish means that it's all beautifully crisp. Right, there we are. They're done.
These need 5 minutes to simmer in a pint of water, along with 2 roughly chopped onions and 4 sticks of celery, finely chopped. Once lovely and soft, strain and leave to cool.
So my next job is to do these chestnuts. These are frozen. I find them brilliant because they have real crunchy texture. They're very easy to chop once they're thawed. There we are, roughly chopped into fairly big pieces. Now those have got to be fried.
Melt 100 grams of butter. I'm using half to fry my chestnuts and the other half will go into the stuffing mix.
Then in goes the chestnuts all in one go. Gently fry that and brown it. While that's browning, I'm going to chop some parsley. I love Christmas Eve, making the labels, wrapping parcels, and I, as mum, has to have a drawer full of extra paper. There's always people, Mum, I didn't have time to do the parcels. Have you got any wrapping paper? Have you got any string? And they're much better at tying the bows than I am. So chop this fairly coarsely. It gives me such pleasure in my old age to do coarsely chopped parsley. For my training, we always had to do it very finely. And really, it's much nicer to have it in pieces that you can see.
That's all the ingredients prepared. Now to simply bring it all together. First add 225 grams of white breadcrumbs, the apricot, onion and celery mix, and a tablespoon of thyme leaves.
Then the parsley, coarsely chopped. That'll be bright green. Then we've got the chestnuts. Now they really are the most lovely colour.
And the remaining melted butter.
The butter binds it all together, and of course that'll be what will make the breadcrumbs crisp. A little salt there, a little pepper, then mix it all together. And that's it.
Tip that glorious mix into a well-buttered baking dish.
It is a delicious stuffing. I can tell you it's a very nice feeling. That's yet another job done, ready for Christmas Day.
My turkey and stuffing is being served with all the trimmings, and that has to include some Christmas vegetables. I'm at Tolhurst Organic Farm to persuade a very special and funny friend of mine to eat his festive veg.
Just here, yeah? Mate, can we not? No.
Presenter Rylan's a self-confessed fussy eater, and there's one Christmas staple he refuses to have on his plate: Brussels sprouts. In the UK, we eat more Brussels sprouts than any other country in Europe, consuming over 700 million of them at Christmas. I just need to persuade Rylan to eat one, and we're starting off with picking them.
I don't even know what half of this is.
Well, those are cauliflower, and in the distance, sprouts.
That's how they look. They look like little palm trees.
You all right?
Right, come on then, let's do this. I'm going on the hunt
Careful
for
as you go.
Mary. I mean, they're all lovely, but I've got to get the best from Mary Berry, haven't I?
Absolutely. There's a wonderful one here, really big one,
So why have you sent me all the way in here?
because I want it all checking out. Take all the leaves off. That's snapping them off at the end. No, not the tops. Press them down.
Press them down.
Right. That's it.
Is that right? Right. Shall I just cut it?
Yeah, get your legs out of the way. That's it. And then saw at the bottom. Well done. That's brilliant.
I feel like I've won a prize.
You have won a prize.
Mary, that's the most work I've done in about 10 years.
That's called manual labour.
I think we've done well there.
I think we might need a few more. That's it. You've got the hang of it now. Perfect.
Done.
Splendid. Well done. We're away.
We're away. I better like these.
I've got faith my Brussels sprouts, cooked with shallots, cashew nuts and peas, will convert him from a loather to a lover.
This is a nice little setup you've got going on.
Right.
Take them off, yeah.
Lovely.
So what are we doing, Mary?
You're
Shall I just
going to
pick these off?
pick those off. So sort of hold it up and pull it down. And now you've got the hang of it. You can't stop, can you?
I'll have my own farm within a week.
That's a good start.
Yeah?
Right. Now I'm going to prepare them.
Simply trim off the ends and remove the outer leaves.
You just cut them in half. And you see the structure of them. They're so neat and beautiful. And as you can imagine, because we've split that, it will cook in half the time.
Cool.
So who's cooking on Christmas Day in your house?
It is my job. Christmas Day and Boxing Day I like to do. I do the turkey, the potatoes. I'll be honest, I don't normally do Brussels sprouts. So
That's what I'm here for.
Overcooking can make them mushy and bitter, so boil for about 3 minutes and add frozen peas in at the end.
Peas and sprouts go well together.
do they work well? Are they friends?
I think best friends.
Right, let's strain these off, shall we?
Now, to make these sprouts really irresistible, first some shallots fried in butter.
That wants to just go until they're beautifully tender.
So, I mean, you're very good when it comes down to preparation. All of this you would do on the day, wouldn't you? Frying off.
Frying off, yes. I would have prepared the shallots and halved the sprouts.
Yeah. So that was all ready to go.
All
and then
ready to
just
go.
on the day, chuck it all in.
And also, I do myself a timetable.
Oh, you're so organised, Mary.
But you're going to be, because you're the cook.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like being at the fair as a kid, that smell with the hot dogs.
You like going to the fair, do you?
Do you want to go to the
I'm
fair?
free, I'm free.
Oh,
right,
let's
come
do
on.
it.
That's absolutely perfect.
For some crunch, I'm adding 50 grams of cashew nuts.
They can be salted or unsalted, just whichever you
Doesn't
like.
matter.
Just turn them round so they're hot.
I know you're looking forward to getting me to try this, but I have to say my favourite thing on my Christmas dinner is the stuffing. That is always my go-to. What's yours?
I've got two favourites. One is the dark meat on the turkey and the trifle.
That was, see, I knew you'd get along with my mum. That's her
Well, there we are.
favourite.
Finally, add in the cooked sprouts and peas.
Oh,
Look at that.
Yeah, look at that colour.
A little pepper and salt. Now, straight into the dish is ready.
Shall we?
Yes.
I mean, the proof's going to be in the taste, isn't it?
Come on.
Let's see if you've done it, Mary. You go
A little
first.
bit of everything. No avoiding the sprout.
Ready?
Be truthful.
I will.
Behave.
I'm so annoyed. You've made me like Brussels sprouts, haven't you?
Well, I'm chuffed a bit about that.
I can't believe you've done it. There's such a lovely bite to it. The cashew as well gives a little bit of sweetness in there with those shallots. Now, if you can convert me, I think you could convert others. So I've set you a little challenge. I've invited some of the local kids out to come and try this dish. I know I've been hiding them. Kids, it's dinner time, come on.
They're all looking very Christmassy.
So guys, do you like Brussels sprouts? No.
Oh, but I want you to try, because they're lovely and buttery. Be brave.
There you go, sweetheart. Dig in.
So what do you think?
That nice? That one's good. What did you think?
I think it was really good.
Do you know what I have noticed, Mary?
What?
An empty bowl here.
Oh.
Where did that all go?
My tummy.
It's gone straight in the tummy.
So what did you think about it?
It was very yummy and chewy.
And what about you? Did you like it?
Yeah, but I do. But the Brussels sprouts were a little bit hard.
Oh.
I don't like the Brussels sprouts.
You didn't like Brussels sprouts. Well, never mind. That's 6 out of 7, so that's not too bad, is it?
Do you want some more?
Yes.
Yeah, go on, help yourself.
Help yourself.
Go on. Mary, put it there.
Oh, it's a winner.
Merry Christmas, gorgeous.
And very happy Christmas to all of you.
Brussels may split opinion, but there's one vegetable that's always a crowd pleaser. My fail-safe recipe for perfect potatoes involves double roasting for extra crispness, a simple twist that makes all the difference.
I always roast my potatoes on Christmas Eve and then re-roast them till they're beautifully crisp on Christmas Day.
Start by parboiling for 5 minutes, then drain.
I'm going to give the pan a shake and it'll be slightly roughened up. So use a Maris Piper or a King Edward potato, but not a waxy potato. Already you can see there's lots of texture there. I'm really fussy about having a crisp roast potato. I used to use flour, and then I thought, why not use semolina? And I've got it in the cupboard. I use it for shortbread, and it does give a lovely result.
Semolina is a coarser flour that adds crunch. 40 grams will work like magic on these roasties.
Give it another shake. I think that's pretty well done. Very important to have hot fat to roast them in. I've got goose fat here. I think it's the best one. So about 4 tablespoons.
For vegetarians, vegetable oil is a good alternative. Get the fat smoking hot. It will make these potatoes extra crunchy.
I know it sounds a little bit odd, cooking your roast potatoes on Christmas Eve, but I promise you it works. You just trust me. Don't leave them out on the worktop, because if you do, I know my son would pinch them a day ahead and I'd be left with very few. These are all perfectly coated now, and I'm going to put them back into the oven to roast.
Once golden brown, take them out and set aside. I'll just reheat these for about 20 minutes on the day before serving.
So important that those potatoes are crisp. Just listen to them here.
I can hear them already.
Yes.
That's
They're so crisp.
You just put them back in the oven to re-crisp.
I didn't even know you could do that a day ahead.
No,
That's
that's what I'm
really
saying.
good. This is truly the miracle of Christmas.
It's a Christmas miracle.
I've admired talented chef Monica Galletti for years, and I'm delighted to call her a friend. This festive season, as well as running her successful restaurant, she is also hosting her own family Christmas. I'm curious to find out what's on the menu, so I've come to Mary, named after her mother, where I should feel right at home.
Hello there.
Hi, you made it.
I did. Monica, this kitchen sparkles and shines, just like you.
That's how I like it. And I think you'd be the same, no?
I hope so. Can I come round
Yes,
and join you?
please. Please, we're ready for you.
So what does Christmas mean to you?
Christmas for me, it's all about family. and your loved ones. I'm from Samoa in the Pacific Islands and then grew up in New Zealand. So I have a huge family. You know, we love turkey and a roast ham, but in New Zealand and Samoa, you know, it's hot weather, so we tend to have maybe a big barbecue. But this year's very special because my dad's coming over. And I've been here over 20 years. It's the first time he's come over for Christmas. So I'm very excited.
I bet you are. What are you going to give him?
Well, this is one of the dishes I'm going to make for him. In Samoa, there's a dish we call palusami.
What was that again?
Palusami.
Palusami.
Very good. And traditionally, it's made with taro leaves.
What is a taro leaf? I've never heard of it.
Looks like a large spinach leaf, but more flavoursome. Tastes more like cabbage. But I'm using caballonero or kale, a chopped onion, in goes the coconut milk, and then into the oven.
That is in no way complicated.
Not at all.
All ingredients to have.
It's very simple, but delicious. This is going to blow your Christmas mittens off.
So, Monica, where do we start?
So I'm going to start with picking the kale. It's been washed, but we just need to strip down the leaves.
I think that cabbage is very underrated.
I tend to agree. Well, it's such a versatile vegetable.
And it's a nice feel, isn't it?
Oh, I like it.
Bubbliness.
And will you be having a big Christmas, Mary?
We're just having family Christmas, and it'll be really classic because we're doing a proper turkey. And I like the leftovers.
The leftovers are the best part, I think.
Absolutely.
Monica cooks down chopped onions until translucent,
Just don't let it catch. Keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on it.
then grates in peeled garlic,
Sensible to put it in at the end, because if you put it in at the beginning, as I find out, it'll burn.
It would burn very easily.
and a flavoursome special ingredient.
My dad's tip is the curry powder.
It smells amazing.
In Samoan food, we love curry, but we don't do a lot of spicy curries. So it's more a flavouring and essence of curry in there. So in goes our prepped kale.
So that's wilting down.
Yes, it is.
And of course, this can all be made ahead.
Yes, absolutely. And then it's just finishing off. In goes our coconut milk.
What consistency are we aiming at?
Very thick and creamy.
Monica decants the vegetables into an oven-proof serving dish ready for baking. And then finally adds chunks of smoked haddock to elevate this to a more hearty meal.
I love smoked haddock.
Oh, fabulous.
We always have a fish pie on Christmas Eve, but this looks so tempting. You could do it in a big dish.
Absolutely, that's how we do it at home.
Now, we're going to put it in the oven until...
And now it's going in the oven.
A bit creamier.
Yeah, and it will thicken up and it almost set.
Well, come on, get it in the oven and I want some.
Right.
These are baked at 180 fan for 20 to 30 minutes. Monica's generous, creamy bake brings a taste of Samoa to her Christmas table. I can't wait to dig in.
Are you ready?
Yes, this is what I've been waiting for.
You've been very patient.
Gosh, that smells wonderful.
I know you like your smoked haddock, so
That's lovely.
to start.
I promise you, that is absolutely divine.
You really like that? It's a bit nervous there.
And also, this is a very nice alternative to fish pie.
It's a
And I
pleasure.
certainly will be making it again.
Happy Christmas, Mary.
Cheers, and a very happy Christmas to you.
Monica's recipe has inspired me to update my Christmas Eve fish pie. But there's one classic dish I won't be changing. My sublime ruby red cabbage. It's a glorious colour. Now, when it has long, slow cooking, it goes much darker, and I'm going to get as much flavour into it as I can. First remove the core, then finely shred. Not only does it taste good, it's a real bonus that you can make it well before Christmas and put it in the freezer, and all you've got to do is reheat it. That looks lovely. Makes a lot, doesn't it, from one cabbage? So on with the cooking. Add olive oil and butter to a hot pan. Can you hear it sizzling? Followed by the shredded cabbage. I like to cook my red cabbage slowly. Then it absorbs all the wonderful flavours and the cabbage will be beautifully shiny and full of flavour. Stir in roughly chopped onion and an apple. You don't have to
cook this for long at this stage because it's going to have that long, slow cooking in the oven. I'm then going to add some apple juice and some red currant jelly, about 4 tablespoons. It not only gives it flavour, but it also gives a nice shine to it.
And finally, some festive spices.
Cinnamon stick, a few bay leaves, and some nutmeg.
Put the cabbage into the oven for 3 hours at 130 fan.
It's had its 3 hours, and I'm going to just fish out the bay leaves, there they are, and the cinnamon stick. I'm taking out the cabbage because I want to reduce this liquid and I want it to be intense and full of flavour.
Scoop out the cabbage with a slotted spoon, then reduce with a knob of butter until the sauce is thick and syrupy.
Those final juices, when they're reduced, give it a really lovely shine. There we are. That's ready to freeze, and then you thaw, ready to serve on Christmas Day. I can't resist a taste. I can taste all those wonderful spices and flavour. It's a real treat. One more thing ticked off.
Food isn't the only thing on my Christmas table. Every year I create a festive centrepiece with what I can find in the garden. But this year I'm meeting Candice Haynes, a florist who specialises in forage displays. So if you don't have a garden, you can still make your own festive decorations, and even better, it needn't cost a penny.
Hello, Candice.
Mary, it's lovely to see you.
You're kindly going to help me do my centrepiece for the Christmas table. When I do it at home, bits fall off it. I'd like to be shown how to do it properly.
Absolutely, and I'm your girl.
You start. Right, I'll put that up that end.
Lovely. What we're going to do is a garland. So it's really simple, really easy to make, and really, really cost-effective as well. So we've got some cedar, pine, we've got some pittosporum, and it can all be foraged. Also some rosehip, which is perfect for this time of year.
So what's the first thing that we do?
So I'm going to cut a ½ metre of rope. I just got this from my local hardware store. It's reusable and we're keeping it sustainable, so we don't need to use any floral foam for any of our Christmas arrangements. Good. I'm going to tie this bit of real wire just to the end of the rope, just for some security. Just like so, wrap around.
That's the difference with me and a professional. I would sort of bind it round and hope for the best, but I'll try and learn the proper way.
First, Candice takes a sprig of pine and attaches it to the rope with the florist wire.
We're just going to wrap that around a couple of times.
Then she layers up the foliage, positioning each about 1 centimetre lower than the last.
At the end, if we see that there's any kind of gaps in colour and tone, we can just go right in and stick it underneath the wire and you wouldn't know any different.
Sounds like a good cheat to me.
Yes, it is.
She keeps adding sprigs of foliage, securing with the reel of wire each time.
Leave the ball of wire.
Yeah.
And put the next one.
Yes.
I was going to cut it all the way down with a piece. That's quicker.
This is probably why they fall apart, Mary.
If you do choose to forage for your foliage, there are some rules you should follow.
You can only forage in places that are public footpaths or public woodlands. You never take anything more than you need. You want to leave a place looking like you've never been there.
And be careful what you pick. Many common garden plants are mildly poisonous if eaten, so make sure you keep out of reach of young children and pets.
This pink heather, it is absolutely wild, and in certain parts of the country, it is in abundance.
And the brilliant thing about this, Mary, is that it will dry out and keep its colour for the whole of Christmas, and it's just going to look stunning.
That really does look lovely. We're getting near to the end.
Yeah.
Because we've got to turn around the other way, haven't we?
So we're going to start going in a different direction so it doesn't look puny at the other end.
There's nothing puny about that.
This is looking stunning.
And for that finishing touch, sprigs of bright crabapples.
Gosh, they look really Christmassy, don't they? Well, I'd like to think this is a joint effort. I can't wait to get it on the table. It looks vibrant, colourful and Christmassy. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.
Doesn't it look fantastic? Some fairy lights through the middle add some extra sparkle. Then I can get ahead and set the table ready for my guests tomorrow. Christmas Day has finally arrived.
On Christmas morning, all your hard work pays off. With all that preparation done, the cooking is easy.
First, take the turkey out of the fridge for an hour to bring it up to room temperature. Then put it straight into the oven. It's as simple as that. I cook mine for about 2¼ hours at 160 fan until the skin is beautifully crisp and brown, and a thermometer reads 65 degrees and the juices run clear.
I think it looks rich and golden, this dark conker colour. I can see the lemon just coming through, still the herbs.
Once the turkey's cooked, you'll need to let it rest. Wrap in foil and cover to keep hot.
The resting is very, very important because, in fact, it is going on cooking. And up to 3 hours, it will stay hot, I promise you.
With the turkey resting, the oven's empty and ready for business. So in goes the stuffing and my golden potatoes can get their second roasting. I'm also throwing in some carrots and parsnips that can cook at the same time. A drizzle of honey for their final 5 minutes will make these beautifully glazed. While the oven does the hard work, I can get on with the gravy. It couldn't be easier.
There's nothing like a good gravy. I've cooked the giblets to make a nice stock. If you haven't got the giblets for the bird, you can just use a stock cube if you prefer. So I'm going to first of all, melt the butter. Butter will make a jolly good gravy.
Once the 50 grams of butter has melted, add an equal amount of flour and combine to make a roux.
In goes the hot giblet stock, a little at a time, and give it a good beat in between. As a family, we all simply love gravy. We're gravy people. Now I've got those wonderful juices from the bird and I've skimmed off the fat. Just pour that in. All these little crusty bits from the bottom are good in flavour, so let's include them all.
Season with a little pepper and salt and a dash of Worcester sauce to deepen the flavour, then bring it to the boil. And that's it. Delicious but simple gravy, ready in minutes.
Absolutely scrumptious.
How's that for a stress-free Christmas meal? My roast turkey, twice roasted golden potatoes with all the trimmings.
Mary, this looks stunning and smells so delicious.
Well, it's the treat of the year, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
This is a good one. Who is Santa Claus married to? Merry Christmas!
I'm going to do some stuffing.
Oh, I love this, Mary.
Mary, this stuffing is beautiful. My mum always does the stuffing. That's the one thing she brings round.
Are you going to try and make it this year then? Mary's recipe, come on.
I will be making this,
Yeah.
but Linda will still be making hers.
Of course, yes.
So I don't know what
Yeah.
Linda's... You have to put them out and have other people tasting them and saying which is the best. Mine, I will.
You won. You won. You won.
Cheers.
What a fun day.
And it's not over yet, so make sure there's room for dessert. My Christmas pudding simply needs to be reheated, then it's ready to turn out.
It's a bit hot, but I've got tin hands. That was easy peasy, and there it is. It smells divine. When I was little, you used to put in the mixture a sixpence, and whoever got it could have a wish. And so what I do is put 20p pieces and I sterilise them by putting them in boiling water. And once I've turned it out and nobody's looking, I just slip those in. And I know that the grandchildren would like a coin. I know where they are, and I can give them a slice, and I can watch that the child doesn't swallow them. And there it is. My pudding is full of good luck.
Set it alight with some flaming brandy, and this decadent dish is ready to serve. But it's not the only dessert on my Christmas table. In my family, there'd be an uproar if I didn't make a very special trifle too. And my foolproof recipe couldn't be more straightforward. Using ready-made custard and canned pears, it won't break the bank. This trifle is as fuss-free as it is festive.
This is Christmas and this is special. First of all, I've drained my pears. Now, I'm not using fresh pears. The canned ones are perfect. And then I've got some cherries here. They're maraschino cherries. They're the sort that come in a little jar and you often pop them into a drink.
Halve the cherries.
I like a nice fruity flavour to my trifle.
And cut the pears into generous chunks.
And now we come to the sponges. Now, these are trifle sponges. I split them in half and fill them with jam. And then you just sandwich them together.
Cut the filled sponges in half lengthways.
You get a nice clean cut like that, and if you push it to the side, you'll see it through and it looks pretty good.
Then put half the pears in the base of the dish.
And then you just put that round the edge and give it a push in to the side like that.
Top with a second layer of sponges.
I'm just checking that I've got these lovely jammy layers so that you can see through. And I think it makes the trifle.
Place any remaining sponges in the middle and surround with crunchy amaretti biscuits.
When they go into the trifle, they take up all the sherry and flavourings and they'll become a bit spongy.
Next, top with the cherries and the remaining pears to create a surprise fruity centre.
Now we come to the boozy part. I've always put sherry, and that's what Mum used to put in, and I did notice there was always a glass alongside it. I think it helped her through the day. If you're making it for very young children, you could use orange juice.
Measure 100 ml of sherry into a jug and make up to 150 ml with reserved pear juice. Then pour over the trifle.
Do you know, that to me smells of parties and festivities. Absolutely wonderful.
Push the amaretti biscuits into the liquid to soak up the flavour.
That looks great. You can clearly see the layered sponge with the strawberry jam. So now on to the custard topping. I'm using a can of custard because it's thick, and then I'm going to enrich it with lots of double cream. It's Christmas, we're enriching everything. It's going to be wonderful.
First, whisk 150 ml of double cream to soft peaks. Then stir it through the custard.
This is beautifully creamy and rich.
And smooth it generously onto the trifle.
Doesn't that look great? That just needs to set a bit, so pop it in the fridge for an hour or so.
While the trifle chills, I'm going to get on with the decoration.
So to finish the trifle, I'm going to show off a bit. Almost like spun sugar, only a little bit thicker, and I'm going to pile it up. And it'll be great when you walk in.
Follow my rules, and making caramel should be easy. First of all, it won't work in a non-stick pan. Gently heat 100 grams of sugar and 6 tablespoons of water until the sugar completely dissolves.
Take the spoon out and you will not need it again. There's a huge tendency to give it a stir. Don't.
Now turn up the heat and boil until the mixture darkens.
It's beginning to make that lovely caramel colour. It's perfect.
Once the caramel is golden, take it off the heat and let it cool briefly to thicken.
I've got some non-stick paper here. I'm going to just zigzag it It's such fun to do. It won't last for long, so you do it an hour beforehand. As soon as moisture gets to it, it begins to soften.
Now my trifle's set, it's time for some lightly whipped double cream.
It's really rich, but it's Christmas, so why not?
And of course, my glorious golden caramel.
Just look at that. Isn't it the best way of showing off? You just break it up and put it on top, willy-nilly, as you want to.
Pile up the caramel shards into a glimmering crown.
This is a perfect ending to that Christmas meal. Just look at that finish. I think it's sensational.
Here it comes.
Oh my Lord!
Oh, beautiful.
That is stunning,
How's
Mary.
that for a trifle?
I mean, that's a trifle and a half.
There's a surprise in the middle.
Oh, hey, diddle
And the
diddle.
surprise are maraschino cherries. There's lots of pears in there.
Wow.
This is so exciting. Can I come every Christmas, please?
Look at that.
There's some nice textures
And I know
too.
you chefs would have poached the pears. I used canned pears.
Mary, I am going to disagree with you. Every time I make a trifle, I open a can.
She means beer, though.
How about Christmas pudding for you?
I've got to try a little bit, of course, Mary.
Cram jam full of fruit. There might be a little surprise.
Wow.
I did put a few coins, so you might get one.
I've never seen coins in a Christmas pudding.
I've got my 20-piece, Mary.
That's because you're special, and that's why you've got it. Have a wish, come on.
Oh, I love this pudding, Mary. And also the textures through it. Just fabulous.
Smells like Christmas.
It is. We should be doing this every day.
Yeah. Every day can be Christmas
Every day.
Presents!
Yay! Presents.
Oh, thank you so much.
Angela.
Oh, thank you,
This
Mary.
is so cute.
That's so
And last
sweet.
Thank
we open
you.
Oh, I love this. That's so good.
You look really good in it. You look so good in that hat.
I've got Brussels sprouts head
Did you
tops.
like that?
I want you wearing that. Come on, come on.
Aren't they fab? Oh, I
They're so
They go with
cute.
your hat,
Cute.
Anne.
Oh my gosh, gonna wear that.
His hair.
I'm never taking it off. Merry Christmas, ladies.
Merry Christmas.
Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So fun. Thank you so much,
Thanks for
Mary.
having us.
Merry Christmas.